Welcome back to Money Moves. I'm Deirdre Bolton. We are back now with our very special guest, Stephen LeBlanc. He is the Senior Managing Director at the Texas Teacher Retirement Fund, $110 billion worth of assets under management. Stephen, we're so happy you're here as an allocator. Many people want to know what you're saying. We talked a little bit about the relationship with PE. One thing we didn't talk about was in November, this groundbreaking partnership that you have between yourselves, KKR and Apollo. First of all, you managed to negotiate fees for Texas teachers lower, but also you're sharing research, you're sharing strategies. How is that partnership going with the PE firms?
The whole idea was a partnership, and for them to have full access to everything that TRS does, and for us to have full access to their best ideas, and to make it a long-term partnership. We've given them capital. We want to consider it to be somewhat permanent. They have the ability to recycle capital over time so that they can take part of the principals and part of the profit and recycle that into their best ideas. And we're also going to measure the total performance. Instead of just fund by fund performance, we believe it's better for us to look at the total relationship and measure their performance for the total relationship with TRS.
Does it give you more control than perhaps traditional agreements would have?
I think so, but it also creates more of a partnership where we're working to are symbiotic in what we both want to achieve. We want to achieve greater returns. Yes, absolutely. We want to achieve greater returns for our teachers, and they want to achieve making more money for themselves. We can work together to achieve both goals.
Do you anticipate any future partnerships, such as this one, structured either with those two PE firms or with others?
Yes, we started with 2 strategic partners on the private side. We will add to that over time. We're also hearing a lot in the marketplace that others are trying to replicate our market-leading idea of creating this strategic partnership.
Yeah, it makes sense. As you say, you're breaking ground there. So we've covered a lot of PE. I'm interested to know what you are doing in real estate because, as you told us before we took the break, that it has almost as big a chunk as far as your asset mix as the PE. So where do you see good deals right now in real estate?
Actually, we're going to allocate more capital to real estate than to private equity. Ultimately, we're at about 12% of the portfolio. We want to grow that to 15% of the portfolio. So we've invested a substantial amount in real estate and will continue over the near future. Right now, we think real estate's very attractive around the globe, especially in the U.S. We think the economic recovery has started and that demand is picking up. We think supply is at a historic low. Supply is about 25% of what it's averaged over the last 2 decades. And the spread, the return you can earn on real estate between the 10-year Treasury and the cap rate you're going to buy real estate on is at a historic high.
I think we even made some charts, Stephen, just so people could follow along. So part of this then is just due to the fact that rates are low and well, according to the Fed chairman, will stay low for at least the next year and a half?
Yes, and that growth has started to recover. Austin is a good example. We like the office market in Austin. We also like the value-add apartment space, not only in Austin, but in other growth markets. We're able to buy real estate locally and borrow globally. So if we can match up investing in real estate in markets that we think will have above the national average growth at a time when we can still take advantage of these low interest rates, that will lock in a spread, lock in a good current income, plus growth in that income as job growth increases and unemployment goes from 8.5% to 6%, 5%, which we believe it will do over the next 5 years.
Do you have a preference for the residential space versus the commercial space?
You know, multifamily is a great space to be in. It's much more of a predictable cash flow, less tenant improvements you have to do, less volatility in that cash flow, and you've got to love the demographics. My daughter being a great example, she's 20 years old. She is the peak of the echo boom. Those kids are going to be moving from home.
That's what you hope, Stephen. Yeah, I was just going to say, you don't
out
know
on
that.
their own. My son's 24. He's off the payroll now, working for a new startup called WePay at Menlo Park. So that kind of entrepreneurship, that kind of work that you see in the community, we like. We like to see job growth, and we like to see the market. On the commercial side, we're a little concerned about retail. We probably are over-retailed nationwide. We do like the industrial space.
So that means not so much interest in malls or large shopping center where the company is invested in those?
Exactly. Malls are okay, fortress malls. I'm probably more concerned about big box retails in the suburbs. Grocery-anchored retail is a very good space to be in. You know, people always need to eat. They always need to go to the grocery store. We believe that's a good space right now.
Stephen, before we let you go, I want to revisit a larger PE issue. You're somebody who has obviously close ties because of what you do. What do you think of the negative PR against Bain and against presidential hopeful Mitt Romney?
Well, I hate to talk about negativism, but I want to say that PE is a growth business. I mean, you can't buy a business and make money if you're not growing that business, and you've got to grow that business. You've got to add jobs. So our history, our portfolio...
That's exactly where he's taking criticism, right, is that the PE kind of comes in and there are jobs cut, and it has a negative effect.
Short term, possibly, that you may have to cut the overhead, the inefficiency. Maybe the alternative is that going to go out of business anyway. So we believe over a longer span of time, PE is a needed part of the economy. It certainly helps our teachers. You know, we made over $2 to $3 billion last year for the teachers of Texas on our PE portfolio. That's substantial, and that's helping 1.3 million public school employees around the state of Texas.
So from where you sit as a decision maker, you're saying this is not going to change at all the way you do business. It's not skewing the tone for the worse.
No. And in fact, if we will not invest with PE firms, if we think all they're going to do is lose jobs, you can't make money firing people. You have to grow businesses, you have to grow revenue, you have to take a possibly broken situation or an undervalued situation, add growth equity. We have a lot of our money invested in growth equity, which is equity that's provided to companies to grow and add jobs. So unfortunately, the industry has been drugged through the dirt, so to speak, in this political environment, and it shouldn't be. It should be measured on the merits, the returns it does over the long span, and then the returns are phenomenal.
Do you think that the industry as a whole, either through a lobby or spokesperson, could improve that message?
I do, and I think we as LPs need to say what the role PE plays for our beneficiaries and how it is helpful for them to help them in their retirement accounts to achieve these outside returns. Now, as I mentioned, our PE portfolio was up 22% 1 year as a time when the S&P was flat. And our portfolio has outperformed on 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, long span of time.
For which the teachers in your state, I'm sure, are most grateful. Stephen?
Well, we're grateful for them for teaching our children, so it's the least we could do to provide the modest retirement system they have.
Thank you very much, Stephen, for your time. Glad to see you here in New York. Stephen LeBlanc joining us there, Senior Managing Director.